The Real Monica Adams Show is brought to you by Exist Stretch. Stop by for your free consultation and 30-minute introductory stretch today.
Well, good morning. Happy Thursday to you, and welcome into the show, The Real Monica Adams Show. I am your host, Monica Adams. Let me start with this. How's your day started? All right, we've got a pretty severe weather pattern that will be heading in our direction, so we're going to get into some weather. We've got a little news you can use, and then we have to be so super proud. So if you're in another city or another state and you come across this, you have to understand that it originated here in St. Louis, and now in 5 days, we will be transferring from our local spotlight to shining the spotlight in the UK and then on to Toronto. What am I talking about? Karate Kid. So let me know this. Did you get a chance to see the Karate Kid when it was here in St. Louis a handful of years ago? And it was selling out to sold out shows every single night, packing Stages St. Louis and then on to London, now then on to Toronto. Again, super cool. So Jack Lane is the founder of Stages St. Louis, and I want to give a shout out to my dear friend, one of my old reporters when I was in radio, Frank Ladd. He and I ran into each other at the Fabulous Fox when they announced the upcoming Broadway season for 26-27, and he's like, Monica, have you ever had Jack on your show? And I had not. I don't know why, because he is fabulous. So I'm going to sit down with him today, and we're going to go back and talk about how did that ever come about? Why did he pick St. Louis to start the Karate Kid? And now the fact that it's going on to London and then going to Toronto. It's super cool. But folks, this is a really big deal. And he was just nominated for an Olivier Award. What happened with that? We'll discuss all that. I'm also going to get into the levels of kindness. And in fact, we're going to share a few stories. But I want you today to tell me, did you ever say something to someone? Did you ever witness something that took place that completely changed the course of that person's moment and next hours, rest of their day, week, month, their entire life, simply because of a kind word or a kind phrase? We're going to get into the rippled level of kindness as well. Well, I want to welcome you into the show, and the show is brought to you, by the way, our friends at Exist Stretch. If you haven't heard, they are our title sponsor. Incredible people changing lives. They've been open now for 4 months in the St. Louis Hills area, open also inside of Exist Fitness. So if you haven't been in, please stop in. Your first stretch is on them. ExistStretch.com at Exist Stretch. And the location's up on the screen right now in the St. Louis Hills area and in Arnold. And again, very warm, very welcoming space when you step in the doors. This is the view for you of the St. Louis Hills location. And we've mentioned you go in, you have a free stretch, right? Your life is going to change. I'm telling you right now, once you realize all that pain you're feeling on a daily basis doesn't have to be there. Okay, they are open Monday through Friday hours, Saturday hours. They are closed on Sunday, by the way. And I want to thank them for their support of our heroes, our first responders, as you see there. So kids have been going in to get better in their sports. Again, we talked yesterday about the pliability of your muscles, how they should be. Trisha Rhodes, by the way, is on with us every Wednesday in our Wellness Wednesday. And we'll be going in more and more and showing and hearing from people who have been stretched, how their lives have changed. I mean, look at that. Look at that flexibility. Thank you, Rich, by the way. Rich has Parkinson's, and he and his wife have seen marked improvements after he has been stretched. Again, Exist Stretch, proud to announce they are our title sponsor. Enjoy your first stretch on them. What do you have to lose, folks? Get in there. And I mentioned the other day, Mother's Day right around the corner, and it's a great opportunity for you to buy mom something unique this year. All right, let's get into the weather. As I mentioned, we could see some changes in our area. Today, 84 degrees, pretty warm, partly sunny skies, down to 63. It will be a little breezy tonight. Tomorrow, we've got scattered storms moving in, a high of 74. The Cardinals are back in action. For all of you baseball fans, we'll be at Busch Stadium, down to 53 tomorrow night. Saturday, 76, and we've got both the Cards and St. Louis City in action. Sunday, just a slight chance of an afternoon shower with a high of 76. Storms are likely on Monday as we get almost to 80 degrees. And then next Tuesday, 72. Wednesday, 40% chance of rain, 40% chance also on Thursday. High Wednesday, 71. Thursday, 68. Friday, 66. And on Saturday, a high of 69. Well, folks, I normally don't like to talk about shootings, and we see them, unfortunately, on a regular basis in the city of St. Louis, which is why a lot of people say, I don't want to go into the city anymore, Monica. Well, this one happened in Wildwood. It's an officer-involved shooting that is under investigation, and it was breaking news at about 8 o'clock last night. So St. Louis County Police, they are investigating this. It happened in Wildwood. The shooting happened in the 18,700 block of Wild Horse Farm Court. Why am I doing this? Because normally we don't hear about a lot of shootings in certain areas, Wildwood being one of those. Police say the incident started as a domestic disturbance. Officers arrived. They found an armed man in the front yard of a home. There was an altercation between an officer and the man with the gun. The officer then fired his gun, hitting the man, who was then taken to the hospital with minor injuries. No officers, fortunately, were injured. The officer who fired his gun, they said 31 in the press conference last night, has 10 years of law enforcement experience. No other information immediately known. So the investigation is underway. So if you know anybody in the area and they were wondering what in the heck happened, there you go. That's all we know at this point. Now, we're going to continue to talk about our officers. You know that we have less and less on the streets. That is not good news. But now people are talking about this, and I wanted to sit with this for a little bit. So St. Louis Police, they've seen a lot of overtime in the city, some in the county as well, and probably adjacent counties. Well, it's exploded. Police argue it's necessary. Experts now are weighing in, and they're saying it could be dangerous. Why? Well, let's break it down first of all. The city, St. Louis Metropolitan Police, they spent $25 million on overtime in fiscal year 25. That's a nearly five-fold increase from $5.5 million in 2012. The department's struggling with staffing shortages and a legal battle over its budget. More than 380 police department employees made over $100,000 in 25. 7 officers earned more than $200,000 with their base pay doubled or nearly tripled by those overtime hours. So there is a sergeant who topped the list at close to $260,000. Remember, I just said a sergeant. If he was paid time and a half on top of his base pay, he worked approximately 90 hours a week every single week last year. There's another officer that made $247,000 and another administrative assistant, that was the title, that made $231,000. More than a dozen employees were paid more than $175,000. That puts them above the base pay grade of the chief. Now, I have sat down, you know, I'm the wife of an officer, and has talked about the fact that we have this incredible shortage. And yes, there are certain positions that can make overtime, others that cannot. Well, here's who's weighing in. We talked about experts saying that it could be dangerous. There's a former professor of criminal justice at the University of Missouri, Kansas City, and they are saying that overtime has become a larger issue in policing all over the place, especially since 2020. The police in general have struggled to recruit and retain people within their ranks. The department faces a shortfall of 250 officers, according to St. Louis City Police, and that attrition is still outpacing hiring. The department argues officers must work overtime to keep the streets safe, right? So this is a catch-22. Now, according to the professors, they're saying excessive overtime poses risks to officers and the public. What are the risks? The risks are 16-hour shifts. Not completely uncommon within policing, but we need to recognize that slows reaction time, according to this professor. And he said, that will show judgment, slow down to judgment, and potentially cloud judgment. That's not good for anybody, particularly the public. This is a quote specifically from this professor, saying also, going on to say that departments should work to limit overtime for officer wellness, public safety, and taxpayer cost. Overtime issues, budget battles. In fact, let's go into St. Louis County. They spent $10.3 million on overtime last year. Now, the St. Louis Fire Department also has employees topping overtime charts. 7 fire personnel made more than their chief last year. So we're breaking all this down to continue to say that we need more people. Now, I know there's a lot of parents who are watching their kids say, I want to go into this. In fact, yesterday we went in to get some medicine for our dog, and there was a little kid at the front desk that went to work with his mom, and he looked at my husband. My husband was in his police uniform, and he goes, are you a police officer? And Jim was just teasing with him. He goes, no, I'm a mailman. We just are dressed this way. He's like, yes, I'm a police officer. And the kid right away said, I want to be a police officer. And I love hearing that. It just brings me back to my younger days when it was officer friendly coming to our class to speak, right? We need to go back to that kind of respect that we have for our heroes in uniform, but there's less and less of them. And that is what creates this problem. But yes, you've got a chief of police making a certain amount, and then you have all the staff underneath him, not all, but a lot that are making more because they have to hit the streets because there's less and less people. So, an interesting subject that I can guarantee is not done yet. Well, we talked about that professor being from Kansas City. The stadium saga settled. The Royals have announced plans for the downtown ballpark, and the district will be in the Crown Center area. After years of weighing options, public discourse, even a failed vote, the Royals announced the site of their new stadium and their ballpark district is the area of Crown Center, which is just south of Kansas City's Crossroads district. When hundreds of thousands of fans gathered outside Union Station and the World War I Memorial to celebrate the Royals as the World Series champs in 2015, few could have imagined their favorite team would play a stone's throw away less than 2 decades later. By the way, that stadium looks absolutely stunning. So finally, an end to where they were going to be. Okay. Couple of people who have passed away. Iconic guitarist and Rock Hall legend Dave Mason has died at the age of 79. His family confirming this to USA Today. The legendary guitarist died Sunday at his home in Nevada, again at the age of 79, and he was the co-founder of the rock band Traffic. Postponed his tour back in 24 after discovering a serious heart condition during a checkup. Rolling Stone reported that he retired from touring in 2025, canceling all of his concert dates. Also, now I've seen this man a little bit here and there. This is Daryl Sheets. So do you know Storage Wars? He's dead at the age of 67. TMZ first to report the death. In a news release obtained by Variety, the police department saying officers were called to his home at about 2 a.m. on Wednesday. Officers found him suffering from what appeared to be a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Pronounced dead at the scene, his body turned over to the medical examiner for further investigation. He appeared in 163 episodes of Storage Wars. So I didn't watch that, but I definitely recognize him. I'd have to look deeper into other things that he was in. But, we hear too many of these things happening. And once again, we talk about the fact that there is a community out there for you. There is a phone number that you can call when you are thinking of taking your life. 988. Please call that number. Someone's there for you. All right. How did it all begin for Schnooks? Well, evidently, a handwritten recipe was found that started it all, and it was right there, that potato salad. Schnooks founder Anna Donovan Schnooks' handwritten potato salad recipe was found after being lost for decades. And I love this. According to Schnooks, the recipe was found by the family in a stack of old papers. They said, quote, holding my grandmother's recipe in my hands felt like reconnecting with the very heart of this company, a powerful reminder that before we were a regional grocer, we were just a family in a kitchen driven by a passion for good food and a desire to serve our neighbors. That is the quote from Schnooks' chairman and now CEO, Todd Schnooks. So it all started with a little potato salad. You got to love that. I'd love to taste that, by the way. The Cardinals, unfortunately, lost yesterday to the Marlins. The final was 4-1. The Mariners coming to town at Busch tomorrow. First pitch will be at 7:15. And your national day of calendar, it is National Picnic Day, and it's going to be a nice day, by the way. One of my favorite things to do is a picnic down at Forest Park, which, by the way, is now the #1 park in the U.S. National Lost Dog Awareness Day, one of the most devastating things to feel when the dog has run away. National Talk Like Shakespeare Day. Also, National Take a Chance Day. Absolutely. That passion that you want to run after, come on, take a chance, make that leap. National Cherry Cheesecake Day and International Girls in ICT Day. All right, you're all up to date in a little news you can use and things that we think maybe you want to talk about. Let me go to our comment section. What are all of you saying today? Christy, good morning. Sean, good morning. Julie, good morning. Karen, good morning. My day started by chasing my little Hazel across the yard who was chasing her first deer. Now see, don't let that dog get away. Luann, good morning to you. Good morning, friends. Julie, good morning. Stephanie, what an awesome story. I bet Jim made that little boy's day. Yes, it was so cute. In fact, that little boy told us that he was with his mom because he was a little depressed. And we were like, wait, what? I mean, this kid was, I don't know, maybe 5, maybe 6. I don't know. I'm not good on guessing ages anymore, but he said that he was going to be in the choir and he was scared that he wasn't going to do good. And so he needed to be with his mom because he ended up not being at school that day because he was a little upset. So we always talk about mental health and the levels of people that it affects. And then we were like, you're going to do great. And he goes, thank you for saying that. So that's the level of kindness, by the way. So we're going to talk a little bit about kindness. I'm going to take a quick break. We're going to talk about kindness. And then in our second half hour, we are going to feature Jack Lane, the founder of Stages St. Louis. Where is he now? And what is the deal with London and Toronto? But all of it starting right here in St. Louis. We'll get to that when we return. Show is brought to you by so many incredible sponsors, and the list just keeps growing and growing. And in fact, in about a week, we are going to be adding another sponsor, and then a month from now, another sponsor. Your name can be on this list, and you can be like these wonderful people. Smiles galore, all because of the wonderful care that they have at Garden View Care Centers. They are one of our newest sponsors. They have multiple locations: O'Fallon, Doherty Ferry, Chesterfield as well. You know that I and my family, we had that first-hand feel of how incredible Garden View is by the way they took care of our incredible mother. But I am not the only one that has that kind of a testimonial. It's everyone that's ever been to Garden View that has continued to say, wow, the way they took care of my spouse, my child, my best friend, etc. Margaret Mead said, never believe that a few caring people can't change the world, for indeed, that's all that we ever have. And so we go on and on of the simple act of caring is heroic. That's from Edward Albert. Here's one testimonial. My 91-year-old mother is a vibrant, loving person. Years ago, we had opted for our assisted living since my mother needed help with her medication and some of her meals. Our family needed a home that offered a loving, trusting environment, one that had activities and staff that truly care about their residents. We changed assisted living homes 3 times due to poor communication with family and the lack of caring and knowledgeable staff elsewhere. You need to know that your parents in good hands. Absolutely. I feel that. Garden View's skilled nursing care has offered my mother and family an extremely loving home with knowledge and support. The worries and the disappointments of the previous homes have been replaced with a caring and trusted environment for my family. Our family is so thankful that we found Garden View of Chesterfield. Mom's now thriving thanks to them. I no longer worry about her quality of care. They've been outstanding in every way. I wish I had made that decision sooner. And that can again says, thank you, Garden View, for all that you do. And it's just, labeled NG. That is one of many of people that say, my life has changed, or I need to make that call and I want to put my loved ones on a list. Do it now. Don't wait until that decision has to be made and then you try to get in. Garden View Care Centers, gardenviewcares.com. And in fact, we'll be visiting with them next Thursday. They'll be in studio and we'll bring you talk a little bit deeper into the incredible activities that they do. So I had a woman reach out to me just the other day and said, I want to know who I should contact. And it just depends on the facility, but I gave them the name of Marianne, who is the director over at the Chesterfield location. So make that call. Take the tour. I mean, again, it's important to be proactive and be organized for you and for your loved ones as well. Okay, we're talking about the ripple level of kindness, and I want you to pass along to me. Did you ever have an experience, maybe you were on the receiving end, or maybe you're the one that did it, the true act of kindness? And we just talked about Garden View and that kind of level of care. So here is just a few examples, right? A teacher who told a struggling student, quote, "You're not behind, you're just getting started." Think about that. When a kid feels, and they get bullied by it, by the way, think about the kids that are held back and then they feel like they're not intelligent. And then you have a teacher that steps in and says, no, you're not behind, honey. You're just getting started. That student went on to graduate college after nearly dropping out. Why? Because of the kindness of someone who believed in him. A stranger who paid for a single mom's groceries during a tough week, restoring her belief that she wasn't alone. A boss, I actually would change that word to a leader who gave someone a second chance instead of firing them. And then that person became the turning point that helped them rebuild their life. A handwritten note left on a hospital bedside that gave a patient hope during their hardest fight. A simple, I believe in you, a text sent at the exact moment someone was about to take their life. There are more and more and more and hundreds of thousands of stories like this because they're human, they're relatable, and we can connect to that impact, right? It goes beyond. I'm asking you to share a story, a kind word. What happened to you, or what have you heard? Now, for me, I love telling the story of my sister in law. She was at the gym and she saw this woman kind of struggling and then kind of tears in her eyes, and she got out of her own way. She went over to the woman, could clearly tell, again, visibly, that she was upset. And she was like, "Are you okay?" And the woman's like, first of all, realizing she's being seen. And she's like, "I'm just struggling. I don't know how I'm going to make it financially." And my sister-in-law went back over to her locker, took out some money, went over, gave it to that woman. The woman just bawled and thought, no, 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 like kindness of strangers. I could go on and on and on. My mother believing in her faith when I was 19 and a doctor told my mom and dad, "Your daughter's going to die today." My dad believing it because, again, it's coming from a physician. My mom not believing, but instead believing the good Lord above, saying, "No more words, not today, not my daughter. Do you have anything else to tell us?" Doctor again, "No. That blood clot has formed up near her lungs and her heart. Your daughter's going to die today." Again, my dad hearing that message, believing the message. My mother, "Not my daughter, not today," walking out of the room, coming into my intensive care room, clearly visible tears. I asked her what was wrong. She just said, "I'm struggling because I know you're going through a lot." She wasn't about to tell me the words that had come from this person with that belief. Again, from book studies saying there's no way your daughter's going to survive. My mom having ultimate faith, and my mom laying a simple prayer card on my chest to say, "St. Jude's got us. St. Jude has you." And me saying, "Why?" The patron saint of impossible cases. And here we are today, all these years later, from 19 years old to now, because of a woman who believed in her faith and believed that together and with him that I could survive. And here I am to do his work. And that's why, by the way, faith is such a big part of my show, in case you've ever wondered. Do you have a story that you want to pass along? Because someone right now needs to hear that they are worthy. Someone needs to hear that they have value. Someone needs to hear that compliment that turns their day around. And it's not just their day. It is what they do with that kindness that you had that carries them for the next week, month. It maybe takes them to have them believe that they can transfer out of a horrible relationship, or they don't have to go into the doldrums of the job that they hate because they have a passion that's over here that wants to be scratched so bad, but other people think it's silly, right? They think they can be in control of your life. It's these stories that go on and on and on, the ripple level of kindness. Stephanie says in 2015, when my husband abandoned me, I was homeless. My friend Judy stepped in and asked me to move in with her. I was so grateful. I treasure my friends and my family. Okay, see? So what would have happened if Judy had not stepped in to offer not just a, "Hey, do you want to come over and talk?" but "Do you want to move in with me so we can get you back on your feet?" Stephanie, thank you for sharing that. Who else is willing to share a story of hope, belief, the ripple level of kindness? Are you struggling today? I love, again, the show is all about being honest and being real and being able to say, "Yeah, I wasn't okay until," fill in that blank, until somebody believed in you, somebody stepped in. So the kindness aspect, this is the last two words of our show. We have 4 words we say: be kind, God bless. And again, my phrases that I want to be known for are kindness and knowing your value. They really do work hand in hand. Today, my shirt, a lot of people always ask, my shirt is always strong and always thankful. And my thankful aspect all comes from someone believing in me. And I always have to thank Eric Hellum, who was my GM at WIL. He believed, he said, your talent should be paid more, which was incredible, right? He very easily could have been like, "Oh, wow, she doesn't even have any idea she should be paid more, so let's just keep paying her this." No, instead it was, "We're going to take you from news, make you a part of the morning show. By the way, you don't make enough." Oh, didn't know, right? I was young. I was in my, upper 20s? And he's like, "Yeah, I was evidently very far apart from what my coworkers were making." And so he was like, "I can't take you to where you belong because it'll be a it's a stark difference that, upper management will be like, what the heck? So he did this stepped up system, but it took only a few months to where he took me where I should have been. And then, other people in my life were thrown into my path to say, nope, I don't believe in you, or I think I can squash your dreams. And then you have that power to go back to that person to say they believed, they told me I was talented, I work hard, and my mom and dad instilled that goodness in me. I'm going to keep this going, but I'm going to remember that if I feel that gut instinct of you deserve more, whatever that looks like, and it doesn't have to be financial, but whatever that looks like, remember to speak up, find your voice. I know Stephanie's not the only one with an incredible story, so whether you watch this now or you watch it later, again, do us a favor, share the show. We've got a great show coming up for you with Jack Lane. Take the show, though, and share it with others so that when they watch later, because I know not everybody can watch live, they can share their own story and say, hey, Monica, I'm watching later, hashtag replay, right? I want to share a story. I hope that this story can help someone. Stephanie, thank you, by the way, for being raw, being real, and being willing to say, this is what I went through. I felt abandoned, and then my friend stepped in. Tell us more of those stories, because you have no idea how it will change someone's life for the good, to make them believe in themselves and to carry them forward into something that you have no idea, okay? I'm serious on this. You have no idea how life-changing what you have to say can be for someone. All right, we've got some upcoming Mobile Monicas, by the way, and if you don't know what a Mobile Monica is, it is when we go and take the show on the road to your business. It could be to a festival, a farmer's market, you name it, a coffee shop. We do the show live in the morning. So many levels of where we've been over the last 3 years. And we'd love to take the show on the road and be at your business. All you have to do is shoot me a message, info@therealmonicaadams.com. We've got a couple coming up in May, and one of them is right here at Barrel House. You've been hearing us talk about this. This will be on May 11th at noon. They're located at 14748 Clayton Road in Baldwin. And if you haven't been there, when I tell you you're missing out, I mean you're missing out. The most cool place. Look, it's so warm and welcoming, right? This looks like your living room. This looks like a cool resort. You're going to gather there with your friends and family. And if you have someone on your list that is a bourbon drinker, a whiskey drinker, rye drinker, they want to make their own blend, well, this is where you do it. At Barrel House, they go through and you get a chance to taste, again, multiple levels of different types of whiskeys, ryes, etc. And then you pick a bottle from right there and you make your own blend. And then you get to share that with your friends and family. Check them out, barrelhousestl.com. And if you are looking for something for Father's Day or Mother's Day, you can get a gift certificate and then go and spend some time with them. Again, even if you're not, and I'm not a whiskey drinker, but I had so much fun with Jim and my son-in-law and our daughter-in-law. And now he's got his own blend to share with his family and friends. barrelhousestl.com. Stay tuned. St. Louis in the spotlight in the UK. Why?
What if you could start your day feeling loose, relaxed, and ready? Deep hydrotherapy right in your backyard. Relax with your family or friends, or work out with our Michael Phelps Edition Swim Spas. Worried about maintenance? We have factory-trained service nearby whenever you need it. Plus, we're here for you long-term if you have any questions or need to refill supplies. You can even test spas at our showrooms. Spas and More, A+ rated, locally owned for 20 years. We put the ah in spa.
Well, welcome back. You know I love the arts, and I tell you about it all the time. Never, ever saying that you are forcing someone to go, but just introduce them. And if that's not the show for them, that's not the play for them, it's okay. Try to see if you can bring them back. I have a dear friend, and I know you're watching, where she's going to be like, yeah, musicals aren't for me. I'm going to see if Jack can turn you around. Let me introduce my dear guest. This is Jack Lane. So I'm shocked in my 33 years here in St. Louis that you and I have not had an interview before. How has that happened?
I'm well aware of you, and I'm a fan of yours, but it just
I can't believe it hadn't happened. It's crazy.
So we're making up for a lot of lost time.
We are. We're going to be
years.
fast friends.
Yes.
Trust me, at the end of this. The founder, by the way, of Stages St. Louis. Now, the original location of Stages was?
It was in Kirkwood. It
Yes.
was on Geyer Road.
Yeah.
And then the big push was to create a performing arts center. And over many decades, with a lot of people supporting and a lot of people saying, be careful, don't do it, this is crazy. I never gave up, and the city never gave up. And we opened this $25 million Performing Arts Center in 2021. What a time
No
to be
kidding.
opening
Wow.
a Performing
Yep.
Arts Center. And it's glorious. It's very much based on Lincoln Center. I was a big part of designing it, choosing the architect, raising the money.
Stunning. I was going to say,
It's
how much
beautiful. It's
money needed to be
25
raised?
million, but
Yeah.
the city and stages raised the $25 million, but
Amazing.
it looks like it's 50 million.
It
looks
absolutely
beautiful.
does. We went there. My dear friend Abigail Stahlschmidt was playing there. And when I first walked in, I was like, oh, there's many things going on here at once. This is amazing. So you can go over here and see a show. You can go over here and see
there's
a concert.
two
Yes.
theaters. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so I walked in and then we sat there and got there in advance, which I highly recommend you do so. Had a drink beforehand.
drink. Yes.
Yes. Enjoyed the ambiance and the energy of people getting excited where they were going. You did a great job.
Thank you. We worked. It was a vision. It was something that we had hoped and planned for many years, and a kind of divine providence. And it was, I'm very faith-based, so I knew
You all
it
know
was
we are.
going to happen, even though I was there for 34 years when I never gave up. I just never gave up because.
So what can you teach others that say, okay, I'm tired, I've been trying.
I think if it's such a passion in your soul and it brings you great joy thinking about it, you need to not listen to the noise that is around you. Often the noise are people who love you and they're just concerned because what you're doing is really, really hard and very few people have ever done that before. And then there are people who don't want you to succeed. And they'll pretend they do, but they don't. Don't listen.
Right.
Don't listen. Just have a very, very strong faith and every day work at it. And again, if it brings you joy, then it is the right thing. And if it were easy, so many people would have done it.
Right.
But it's hard. And then it's hard after you open it. What I'm doing right now in New York and London, it's hard.
Yes. We're going to talk about that way. You grew up in New York.
I did. I come from an Irish Catholic cop
Yeah.
family.
Hey. Oh, wow. Not the
Yeah.
cop. Well, I married you one now,
Yeah,
but
my
I
dad
came from an
was,
Irish
my-
Catholic
my
family.
grandpa was a cop. My dad was a cop. And
Oh, well, tell them, oh, thank you. Or I'll say thank you.
he patrolled the theater district. So
Oh, how cool is this?
That's where it came from.
Really? That was just the influence that was around you?
It's very funny because my family, they're medicine, food and wine, the arts, but I was the only really arts person. But my parents were very supportive about whatever we wanted to do. They just wanted us to be happy.
Yes.
And we always laughed. Well, Dad patrolled Broadway in the 1960s, so that must
Well, that's
be
where it came from.
That's where it
And by the
came
way,
from.
did you hear what he just said? So we were walking him around the business club that's attached to our studios, and he's like, "Oh, I love this. I come from a food and wine." I'm like, "Dear God, why haven't we met? Because we would have been having some wine." So where's that influence from?
Well, my nephew went to the Culinary Institute, upstate New York, and my sister, Janet, she has a master's in business engineering and wine.
Oh, okay. How did I miss out on that?
I mean, she said, "Oh, she is sommelier." I said, "She could be, but she was a business engineer."
Okay.
She went into companies and she, like multi-billion-dollar companies, and fixed them.
Okay.
But she also had a degree in wine because she loved it, and she used it for not-for-profits to
Oh,
help
I
raise
love it.
funds for not-for-profits. But she traveled around the world learning
Really?
about the thousands of grapes.
Oh, yeah. And we always say, I mean, we just said it on our Foodie Friday, that it is mind-blowing to the level of what a sommelier knows.
Yeah.
And the master sommelier, I mean, you just sit there and go, how are you getting that out of that wine?
Have you seen the documentary Somme?
I have.
Wow.
Yes.
Oh
yes.
my God! Talk about
You all need to see that.
Oh, it's brilliant.
Yep.
Talk about passion.
Yeah. Well,
to
and
be a
that's what we say
sommelier.
is that people take for granted because they're just sitting there, and they want you to, right? They want you to sit there and enjoy and have time and have a great memory.
Yes.
But also, I guess because my brother's in the industry, that I always came back and went, but the amount of love and passion and grit that went into just that one bottle.
Creating that bottle of wine is like creating a show.
There you go.
It truly is.
Yes.
And my sister taught me that the best bottle of wine is whatever your favorite is. It's not about price.
That's
It's
very
great
true.
to understand.
Yes.
But she goes, after a while, when you reach a certain level, it's gets to be marketing. A lot of
It's
it
expensive grape juice, my husband
It's
says.
expensive grape juice. She goes, try to stay $200 on that.
Exactly.
But have a go-to that cost $18 or something.
It's very true. And there's some very good ones. And I love the blind tastings that you do where you're like, wait, that was the $18 bottle of wine? I swore it was the 200.
My favorite wine company, and I'm not pitching them, is WTSO. Wine's still sold out.
Yes, I love them.
so
Wine
great.
Text is good too, by the way.
Yes, I'll check that
Gary
out.
V is behind that.
The WTSO is
Yep.
so fantastic, and it ships right to the door.
I love that you know that.
Yes.
WTSO, Wine Text Underground Cellar. We're just giving you some little behind the
I just
scenes
think
tips.
it's a great meal, a great glass of wine with family and friends, and especially if you can make the meal together.
Yeah.
My family, we all cook, so when we go to the different houses, I'll be a sous chef for my sister or my brother, and it's just kind of wonderful.
See how
do that.
we did not know we were going to talk about food and wine, but it always comes because
You always end up back in the kitchen. You do, right?
Yes, that's where the memories are made.
Yeah.
Yes. Once again, if you're just tuning in, Jack Lane, the founder of Stages. So grew up in New York. You came to St. Louis in what,
86 to explore.
Okay.
In 87 we opened because Michael Hamilton was the artistic director, is from Kirkwood.
Kirkwood,
That was
okay.
the connection.
Ah.
He was a Muni kid, went to New York, did his thing, and he said, I want to open my own theater company. And I was disillusioned as an actor, and I thought, this guy's really cool. Let me see what we can discover, and the rest is history.
Absolutely. So, I always wonder when someone is a director, producer, any aspect of what you would consider to be behind the scenes, were they also in front? And then how do you make your way to that? So for you, it was.
I did. I was an actor for about 8 years. I was doing very well, had an agent, was doing soap and was doing film work, theater. I always found myself in my head going, I wouldn't do it that way. I would be watching the director and the producer and the marketing of it, the whole thing, and I thought, wait a second, I'm behind the scenes. But I'm very, very glad that God guided me as an actor to learn. And okay, now it's time to flip to the other side. And it was a great pivot for me.
It's fun when you learn it all. And by the way, be willing. Like we always say yes, say no for boundaries, but say yes to learn. Yes. I had a lot of people when I was at Channel 2 and Channel 5, and I heard some of them go, I'm the old dog. Don't teach an old dog. I have no desire to learn to edit and shoot and direct. And I'm like, I will. Yeah, why not?
I mean, yes. I mean, I have to be supportive, and people go, no, I can't. Great. That's your choice.
Yes.
That's your choice.
Yes.
I want to learn as much as I can, and I want to surround myself with the best people and and then support them. That's what a producer does. You hire the best people who are much better at doing what they do than you are, and you let them fly, and you come in and you support them. You say yes and no when you have to, but you want your team to make the decisions. Not
the team.
You.
No,
it's the team.
Yep. Let go of the egos.
Empower. Let go.
Yes.
Let go. You know when you have to be the boss, but
let's start that hashtag. Let go.
Oh, let go.
Let go. And there's the let them. Of course, we were talking about Mel Robbins.
Let go and
let go.
And say
yes.
Say yes.
Yeah. So we both get this, and we're hoping. We walked around before we started the show today, and both said we've had mentors. We love being leaders. We love to mentor because really the greatest impact that we can make in life is that that whatever was given to you and taught to you, that you're paying it forward when you're no longer here, that you're leaving that legacy behind.
Right. Don't hold on to it. You have to. That's why you're put on this earth. It just
Agreed.
is.
I agree.
It's that, for me, it is that clear cut. And yes, you will deal with frustrations when you're mentoring and your group of usually young people, sometimes older, they're not listening or they're really doing it in a way that you never would, but you can't do it for them. All you do is support them and watch them, and some totally flourish, some don't. I was once told, stop helping people so much. And I said, that's never going to happen.
Yeah.
It's never going to happen because it does bring great joy to me in watching people flourish. And if they don't flourish, it's part of it.
Yes.
It's part of the game. It's part of life.
Hopefully they see the gift and the blessing in it all, but if not, it's not their time, right? We're both faith-based. We both get that.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah.
And you just have to, again, you have to go with the passion and know your worth. Know your value, know your worth. And it's easier said than done.
I know.
Because every day especially now, it's such a volatile time that we live in. Every day it can be beaten out of you, but you must make the choice to rise above it. You must. And you must try to surround it with as much love as you possibly can, even those people that you don't particularly love or like at that moment.
But you be kind. I mean, you all know that
Kindness.
that's my favorite is kindness goes so far. It's like one of
Kindness.
the greatest things you can do in life. You didn't know this was going to be a life coaching show today.
But kindness is just, I was taught that by my parents.
Yeah.
It's kindness is just those, and total, this is what my mom told me. The person you're talking to right now could be someone you only talk to once in your life. They are the most important person in your life at that moment. Share that. Because that moment, poof, it's gone.
Chills? Chills? Are you all getting chills here, by the way?
But it's so true.
It is very true.
Yeah.
It's the greatest thing you can be in life is to be kind. We're visiting again with Jack Lane, the founder of Stages. Again, from New York to London, Broadway. We're going to talk about something really exciting. So maybe you were blessed to see Karate Kid. It debuted here, 2022.
Yes, it did.
Okay, wait till you hear what's coming up. Also, want to congratulate this one. You know Laurence Olivier? Well, we're going to see how that connects to Jack Lane. All of that coming up. Don't go anywhere.
What if you could start your day feeling loose, relaxed, and ready? Deep hydrotherapy right in your backyard. No commute, no appointments, just warmth, relief whenever you need it. Sore muscles recover faster, tight joints loosen up, tension you carry all day, gone. Relax with your family or friends, or work out with our Michael Phelps Edition swim spas. Worried about maintenance? We have factory-trained service nearby whenever you need it. Plus, we're here for you long-term if you have any questions or need to refill supplies. You can even test spas at our showrooms. Spas and More, A+ locally owned for 20 years. We put the ah in spa.
Welcome back to the Real Monica Adams Show. Thank you so much for being a part of it. I'm your host, Monica Adams. This is Jack Lane. We've been talking a lot about Stages, Karate Kid, and this is the most amazing thing. Karate Kid, it launches and debuts right here in 2022. But now tell them what's happening.
We're heading to London.
This is incredible.
We're in rehearsals right now in London. Then there is a UK tour of 14 weeks. Then from there, we take the British cast to Toronto for 5 weeks, maybe 7 if we get extended. And then that's phase 1. And from there, either it's Broadway or possibly West End. But it's happening, and it's happening very smartly because I'm sure you've read producing on Broadway right now is really expensive.
Yes.
And there's a backlog of product because for almost 2 years, things weren't being produced on Broadway. It's too much going on Broadway. So a lot of shows are starting in London. It's less expensive to put on a production in London. So that is what we're doing. I fly over there next week. We have tech. And then our first performance is the 28th of April at New Wimbledon Theatre.
Oh, look
the
at
tennis
this.
place. The tennis
Really?
place. Yes. That's beautiful, beautiful.
I've never
theater.
been to London, so I've got to live through you.
My
I know
God,
I got to
you
get.
need to get to London. And it's a very robust tour throughout the UK provinces and then on to Toronto.
I mean, how amazing, first of all, because a lot of you might be like, oh my gosh, I saw that when it was here. So give me the passion project behind having it here in St. Louis first or in Kirkwood first.
Oh gosh, this is such a great story. My entertainment lawyer is the entertainment lawyer of Kamiko Yoshi.
Okay.
And Karate Kid is her baby.
Okay.
She went to Columbia. She went to Robert Kamen, who wrote the original screenplay. We have to make a musical. No, I don't think so. She worked so hard to get those rights. Tom, my lawyer, knew that we were building this beautiful performing arts center. Kamiko was looking for a regional tryout theater. All of the biggies, La Jolla, the Guthrie, they were all after her. We were unknown because tryouts just don't happen in St. Louis.
Right.
But I said, please come to St. Louis, meet the team, meet the mayor and everyone who runs Kirkwood, and tour the Performing Arts Center. It was just opening. It was delayed because of the pandemic. She came in, and there is such a spirituality to that building with the light and the glass and the green. And she came in, and she was in the mezzanine, and she goes, this is
This is it?
This is it.
Really?
This is it. And then the work really started. So it was part of our 22 season. And then there was a lot of enhancement money to make it as gorgeous as it was. A lot of enhancement money came from New York. And then it was all the film stars came. Ralph Macchio was here, Billy Zabka, and then people flew in from all over the world.
Yes.
I think we had 48 states, people coming to see the show. We ran for 5 weeks, and by the time we got to the 5th week, you couldn't get a ticket.
I know. I remember covering this.
It was, and the reviews were lovely.
Yes.
And here we go. A lot of people have said to me, so I see you're not moving forward. And I said, no, that's not true. While we were deciding what we were going to do. And we made a joint decision, not Broadway, too much. And we wait until we found the right producing team in London, and off we go.
Isn't this I mean, come on. Is this not incredible? So proud that you can say this is where the origination of it was.
In St. Louis.
Yes.
I mean, it was a residency. They were here for 2 months. You know, it wasn't just rehearsing. It was like working on the script, creating things, constantly tweaking it up until opening night. Even after we opened, kept on tweaking it. And it's been tweaked more since it left because it was a tryout. Yeah. But St. Louis was an incubator. And it could, and it should happen again. And I hope
I was
it
just going to ask you, do you have any plans for that?
I'm no longer at stages because I'm so focused on London.
Yeah.
But I sure hope it does happen because I know it was a wonderful experience for everyone on the Karate Kid tryout.
Again, so you hopefully that someone would hear this and say, yeah, wow, look what we did and look what can be again, right? This is the whole thing of paying it forward and believing in yourself, having a vision, but then it's so easy to have the belief and then to get knocked down, and how many people in life stayed knocked down because others didn't believe in them.
But that's part. Being knocked down that's part of success. I was, as an actor, I was taught something really interesting. Someone said, "Embrace the no's. They bring you quicker to your yeses." And I always feel in life, whether you're an actor, whatever you're doing, properly prep, do a good job, and if it's a no, it's okay.
Yes.
Say thank you so much, because often a no becomes a yes from the very same group or person down the road. As a fundraiser, I got a lot of no's in my life.
Sure.
But I never got go away.
Yeah.
Keep in touch. Let us know what you're doing. And so many of my no's turned into ginormous yeses down the road. But again, that's a faith.
Well, I was just going to say, Jack and I both just mentioned how much faith we have. And so it's easy. I love the most recent comment from Hoda Kotb, who said 27 times I was told no, that I was the one that had the goofy name and I can't even pronounce your name and you look goofy and change this and change that and you get knocked down 27 times later. Now, look. So it's all these things, exactly, all these things that are making their way for you, if you believe, again, and that's where the faith really comes into play. I went into the break saying Laurence Olivier. I hope you know that name. So, by the way, congratulations. Yes, congratulations. So let's talk about the Olivier Award. So you were nominated.
Didn't win. It was the revival of Evita, Jamie Lloyd's production, which is coming to Broadway next season. Tough competition.
Sure.
And going into it, the competition was between the revival of Evita and Into the Woods. Oh. And I felt that Into the Woods, because it's currently running right now, I thought that's going to edge in. And they did. And good for them. I haven't seen it, heard it's great. But Rachel Zegler, who played Ava Perón, won. And the wonderful choreography won. And we will be opening on Broadway next season. So it's all good.
You celebrate all of that. Again. You have to.
You have to, because if you don't, it's going to eat away.
It is. And so you provided a quote for me, and I want to read that because this is something that I think everybody needs to understand. So Jack said, while we didn't win the Olivier Award for Best Musical Revival for Evita, it did go to the equally acclaimed and deserving production of Into the Woods. Again, this is class speaking. A hearty congratulations to the entire Woods team. What is interesting, though, is that my absolute two favorite creatives of Jamie Lloyd's production of Evita did both win Olivier Award. She just, as he just said, Rachel, who gave an absolutely galvanizing performance as Eva Perón, won Best Actress in a Musical, and then Fabian Alois was whose mind-blowing choreography, vision of the world of Evita and Argentina, won Best Choreography. So Rachel and Fabian's work truly deserved to be honored, and Broadway had better get ready for this explosive new production of Evita. That's amazing, and that is, you've all watched, or if you've been blessed, you've gone to an award show, and it can get uncomfortable for them because they'll show everybody on the screen, and you're thinking, everybody's watching. Always, this goes back to kindness, though, Jack, right? Okay, so sure, you want to win, but you want to celebrate the arts in general, everything, the blood, sweat, and tears that you all go into it. But we've all seen the uncomfortable where you can see someone, I wanted to win.
The face on the camera. I mean, everyone wants to win. I won a number of Tony Awards, been nominated more. I like winning because it's usually good for my investors. I don't care about awards. I don't do it for the awards, but I want my team, my investors, I like them to, as they say, can we at least break even? and often it's like, no, we didn't.
Right? Yep.
Some great shows.
Next one. The next one. You have how many Tonys?
I have 4.
4, right? Yes.
Yeah.
So the very first one, and everybody always remembers back to the first one. Take me back to that one.
That was neck and neck. It was Best Musical between Fun Home and An American in Paris.
Oh, wow.
Now, Fun Home got the stronger reviews, but American Paris was beautiful, and it had just opened, and it would tour better than Fun Home, and Fun Home won. And I remember sitting there and then going up on that stage I still have a picture of myself on stage with the lead producers and the entire company, and I'm like kind of like, whoa. It was at Radio City, and it will be. I expect this year. I have a strong chance of winning this year with Ragtime. There's the Ragtime revival, which I'm a producer. It'd be great if we won again for the investors and for box office, but it's. You don't always win.
No, you don't.
You don't.
But that's okay, though.
But I think
you don't do it for the trophy.
No, you don't. But I think I know it's corny to say, well, just to be nominated. Just to be nominated is
it's huge.
It's a very, very big deal.
Yes. I remember when I was first nominated for an Emmy in television. Didn't win, but I was part of a lot of collaborative wins, which to me is we all won.
Yes.
Right? But we win every day because we get to do what we love. To me, that is the greatest blessing that you can possibly have. And if you're not doing what you love, please understand that it's out there for you. Don't stay in that rut.
You can't, as hard as it sounds, you can. If you get proper help, people can help you pivot. Or go to someone who does it. I say go to someone who does it for a living. Help someone pivot their lives. Because it can be done. No matter how old you are, it can be done.
Yeah, I love the fact that you just said that, because there were some great people in history that didn't even get their start till they were past their 50s, some 60, some 70, and we know them for that.
Well, and I'm 69, and I'm now going into this amazing new chapter in my life. I didn't retire from stages; I just left so I can then pursue my, my other projects in New York and London. I became a film producer last year, so it's like it's all out there for the picking.
So you've done a lot. Is there anything left on that plate where you're like, I haven't done this yet, I want to try this?
I would like to be a part of creating something totally from scratch.
Okay.
Where I work with a songwriter, a librettist, and literally create the next great American musical. I would love to create a musical that is as feel-good and as funny and as spiritually fulfilling as it possibly can be. I see a throwback to the 40s and 50s with glorious singing and dancing, but still have a story that is relevant to people nowadays. And I want something that will appeal to people who don't even go to the theater.
That's what I said that at the very beginning, because I have a dear friend who's like, nope, Monica, musicals, I just don't understand. It's
Why
going
are they
along
singing? Why are they singing?
That's what she does. Why do y'all break out in
This is
song?
ridiculous, right? Yeah, I get
What
it.
do you say to them?
Yeah, I would say, I hear you. It is ridiculous that this person is singing. But I would suggest the following musicals where it seems to be much more organic. Because sometimes when someone starts singing in a musical, it's like this is kind of ridiculous. But if it's a really, really good musical, it can really come out like I can't talk anymore. I have to sing now. I spiritually I have to sing my thoughts. And
I like that.
With Karate Kid, because it had that great brand, a lot of people came to see it who are not musical theater fans, and they
loved it. Okay.
Same thing when we did Always Patsy Cline.
Oh yeah. Oh
which
my goodness.
is going to Broadway.
Yes.
I'm the lead producer on that. Brought in a ton of people who had never gone to the theater before, but they love Patsy. Then it brought in a lot of theater snobs, a lot of my friends, theater snobs. Oh, well, is this going to be a little jukebox thing? I said, just
Just you wait.
Just you wait. And they're like, oh my God.
Yeah. Well, you know what? And that is the thing that I love of the evolution of the arts is, yes, for the people who think, I don't want to go to this. I don't even understand it. But, oh, I like Michael Jackson. Oh, I like Neil Diamond, right? And so if you looked at all the shows that are coming up, and
Yes.
I'm so proud, we should be so proud of St. Louis, from Stages to the Muni to the Fox to the
Rep.
Shell. I mean, I could
Yeah.
go on and on. The Rep, exactly.
Opera theater.
I have
best.
not been to, my introduction to opera was the Rape of Lucretia. That was a big one.
Serious?
I was like, who introduces me?
I think there's like lighter ones you can start with, maybe.
I was like, whoa, okay. But I appreciated it. Again,
Yeah.
but I have always loved the arts. And I have to thank my parents when I was 7 years old. That was my introduction. And
You were 7 when we went to the Rape of Lucretia? Okay.
No.
Oh, okay.
7 for the arts. No. I was 22. 22. Yes. But it's always, and it may not connect with you. It did for me, and I felt it. A lot of people are like, I can't go to the opera. I don't understand what they're singing. It's not. It's just immersing yourself in the passion of it.
So many theaters now have the surtitles.
Yep.
Like the Metropolitan
Yep.
Opera. Oh my gosh, it's so exciting to go to the Met. Just the scope of it. And if you don't, you can read the lyrics or not. They're
Right.
on the chair in front of you.
That was so smart.
Yeah, it cost a fortune to do it, but so
Right.
smart.
I'm going to take our final break. When we come back, I want to hear what Jack has to say about the evolution of where the arts are now, and also from an AI standpoint, as you see. Yes. So Jack Lane, again, from Stages to the Karate Kid, and so much more to come. You can catch him in London and Broadway, and then we're lucky enough to have him here in St. Louis just for a little bit. More with Jack when we return. Hi, it's Monica Adams. Thank you so much for following along with The Real Monica Adams Show. But I wanted to let you know there's so much more that I could do with you, your business, your corporation. Did you know that I'm a motivational speaker all around the world, as well as an MC and an auctioneer? So if you have an event, maybe a nonprofit organization, and you want to book me, just shoot me an email, info@therealmonicaadams.com. Welcome back. We are with Jack Lane. You know him maybe from Stages St. Louis and Kirkwood, but now we're talking about the evolution of the arts. So yes, into London and Broadway. We're lucky enough to have him in town for us for a little bit. But yeah, the Karate Kid, if you had a chance to see it back in 2022, see it again if you're blessed enough to go to London.
Or Toronto.
Is going to be, or
Yeah.
Toronto, yep. And who knows from there. It's just, first of all, we all go back and remember the movie. What an iconic movie. And then to see it play out on stage, I think is amazing. So I went into the break, Jack, and said the arts, just the evolution of it alone is just the theatrics. Again, all the people behind the scenes that never get the credit that they really deserve. I'm looking here at going to Stages and going to the Muni and going to the Fox and the Rep, like you said, and just watching the stage production and how it's evolved and the things that they are able to do now. I'm like, this is incredible. What do you think about AI in your field?
Well, I think AI, it's not going to kill the theater because it's live.
Yes.
And that cannot be duplicated. I'm very nervous about AI and the creation of art, the writing of, the design of, and it's so in its infancy, but it's moving so fast.
It is.
I do get nervous about the craft of designing a set, because literally you can now tell AI, you can give all the specifics of this is what I want the backdrop to look like, this kind of foliage or this kind of light, and it does it,
And in seconds.
and in seconds. So I don't know. I had a whole conversation the other day with a designer, and he goes, I am using it just to help my thought process, but at the same time, there's a lot of craft that is going to evolve, and I don't know, in ways that I don't know how supportive I'm going to be of it, but I don't see it stopping.
It's interesting, and I cannot for the life of me. I'm having a brain fart here. There is a movie or there's a show coming out at the Fox, and this is the one that my husband was like, "What?" And it's a robot. She has a relationship.
Maybe Happy Ending.
Thank you. Maybe happy.
Brilliant.
Is it? I can't wait for this one. They told me I'm going to love it.
Utterly brilliant. One of the most brilliant musicals I've ever seen.
Oh my gosh, really?
In my entire life.
Oh no! Wow. Okay.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
It's funny because we all went to the announcement at the Fox, and it was all these shows, and then the guy next to me literally lost his mind and screamed when that one came up, and I'm like, what is this? And my husband was trying to wrap his brain around. He's like, I still don't get that one. I'm like, this guy, and now Jack said, no, do not skip this one.
It's the robot musical.
Yeah.
But then there's my show, Water for Elephants. I'm a producer on that.
They went nuts on that too.
Oh, good, because that is
yes,
that's coming in also based on the book and the movie.
Okay,
very, very different than the robot musical.
But that's good.
It's great.
We need that. So how about this? As we wrap up, favorite that you haven't been a part of. What is your all-time favorite musical that you haven't been a part of?
Favorite musical is called Follies.
Okay.
From 1971.
And then favorite you have been a part of?
The Prom.
The Prom.
The Prom.
Okay.
Yeah. And we made it into a movie with Meryl Streep and
Yes.
James Corden. Yeah, I was one of the lead producers on The Prom. Nothing. I don't think anything would ever top the whole experience I had with The Prom. It was incredible. Now, financially, it was not successful on Broadway. Great reviews. People loved it. It's having a big live. We just opened in Australia and Sydney, and we're opening on the West End next year. So it's still moving forward, but The Prom.
And then for those, because I just told you that I was introduced when I was only 7 years old, if someone is saying, okay, I've heard Monica say this a lot, introduce your children at a very young age, and then let's let them go from there of where they're going to go with their love. What would be some good shows to introduce kids to?
Well, speaking in St. Louis, I would introduce them to a theater like Metro Theater Company, which does such gorgeous work. There is theater for young people that the Rep does. Stages has done that. I would start with the shorter, like 30-minute, 45-minute productions, but also do your homework to make sure it's going to be one of those really smart experiences, because there are some theater companies, I don't think in St. Louis, who just dumb down stuff for kids. Kids are really, really smart.
Absolutely.
And they're very, very discerning, and they will call you once. I love... One of my favorite things is having kids in the audience, whether it's for a children's production, a family production, or a main stage. I always love it because they will tell you exactly how they
That's
felt
right.
about it.
Yeah, they're not
shy.
No.
They're not shy.
And they should. But again, a lot of people are like, oh, okay, I got to take them to a Disney thing and this and that. I'm like, no. Really expand that whole horizon for them.
And do your homework before you take them to see a show to see if it is appropriate lengthwise, subject-wise.
Yeah, I like the fact you said lengthwise. That's true, because I've seen some kids and I'm like, oh, they're lost. It's 2.5 hours.
It's 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I say start small, start slower, and then build and build and build. Because if it's the right show, if it's the wrong show, you can turn off a child or an adult.
Amen.
Forever.
Ever. Yep. And that's where you do a disservice to it. So I had been introduced to the Muni at a young age. The Fox, my very first show, I have to thank Father Kevin at St. Thomas Aquinas Mercy, where I went to high school. And it was a big one, though. So I very easily could have been like, Les Mis.
I was going to say Les Mis, because and Les Mis it's so, talk about spiritual, but it's a lot.
It was a lot, and it's long.
And it's sung through. There's like very little dialogue. It's long.
You know how much I loved it? I still love to tell the story. My brother went to the library, got the music, put it on a cassette tape for me, and I had it in my Corvette. People would get I had my top down, and they're like, what are you listening to? I'm like, you don't get it. It's Les Mis, the music in that.
And there's a reason why it's still popular.
Yes.
And there's a reason why Phantom of the Opera is still selling out.
Yep.
It grossed $6 million in its 2 weeks at the Fox. Totally sold out.
Les Mis, Phantom, and Wicked are my top three.
Oh, yeah. Wicked.
I mean, it's incredible. What's your favorite music? Is there a standout song?
I love jazz. My favorite singers, Rosie Clooney.
Okay.
Was probably and a singer most people don't know, Nancy Lamott. Loved Tony Bennett, early Tony Bennett, the Capital Years for Frank Sinatra.
Okay.
Love that. I love soloists, but I also love opera. I love opera.
I want to be introduced to more opera. My husband got turned on to Alfie Boe, who, for all of you that have ever had a chance to go and see Les Mis, I just keep going, can he please come? First of all, he needs to come to the States, but can he please come? I don't think there's anyone that's ever been able to play Jean Valjean.
Like that.
No, you have to see the PBS performance, by the way, in London.
Yeah.
It will bring you to tears every single time.
That was at the Royal Albert Hall, I'm pretty sure. That's where the awards were just the other night.
Well, you've done some. You are welcome back on the show anytime.
Thank
we
you.
could sit here forever. Next time, now that I know you like wine, next time we're doing wine and the arts. I showed him around here, by the way, and I'm like, we could do like a little tease of some of the shows and then to a live audience
I
here.
used to do a radio show on KTRS. It was every month, just talking about what's coming up next month in the theater. It wasn't just promoting stages. It was because there wasn't anything like it. And I said, why isn't there a show that just promotes, give away tickets? Yeah. And we did it for a good few years until it just kind of fell apart, but it was great.
Well, I would like to bring things like that back. And when I left, I wanted to take the best of the radio days, the best of the TV days, and pull those things. I told Jack that I used to work with Steve Bertani forever ago. This is probably 25, 30 years ago.
Yeah,
I think it's in my beginning.
Steve's been gone from stages for 20.
Is he still in the business?
I think he was at Ararock
Okay.
for many years. I don't know if he's still there.
He is who I used to work with when we would book different things about stages, and we gave tickets away back then.
Yeah.
See?
Yeah. Wow.
I love this. You are a pleasure.
Thank you. You're a pleasure, too. I really appreciate spending time with you today.
I'm excited. I will be following just how great Karate Kid does. Again, if you get an opportunity to see it, please. Toronto or in London.
May 7th is the gala opening in Wimbledon. You're invited.
Oh, all right, honey. I got to go.
If you can get yourself there, we'll get your tickets. And
oh, my God.
Oh,
don't say that.
I will.
I will find my way somehow. All right, everybody. Jack Lane, isn't he a pleasure? Don't go anywhere. We'll wrap up the Real Monica Adams Show next.
What if you could start your day feeling loose, relaxed, and ready? Deep hydrotherapy right in your backyard. No commute, no appointments, just warmth, relief whenever you need it. Sore muscles recover faster, tight joints loosen up, tension you carry all day, gone. Relax with your family or friends, or work out with our Michael Phelps Edition Swim Spas. Worried about maintenance? We have factory-trained service nearby whenever you need it. Plus, we're here for you long-term if you have any questions or need to refill supplies. You can even test spas at our showrooms. Spas and More, A+ rated, locally owned for 20 years. We put the ah in spa.
Welcome back. That was so much fun interacting with you while we were watching together. I was getting text messages from people saying Jack is fabulous. Yes, he was. I would love to do a regular show with him. At least have him on a couple times a year, maybe once a quarter. What do you think? Thank Jack Lane, please, and each and every one of our incredible guests. By the way, I always ask you, do you have topics? Do you have guests that you would like for us to have on the show? If so, send me a message at info@therealmonicaadams.com. Speaking of guests, I got a chance to visit last night with the gentleman that we will be featuring tomorrow. Jim and I went to a media night at Casa Don Alfonso at the Ritz-Carlton, St. Louis. And if you have not been, please, please, please put this on your list of places to go for breakfast, for brunch, for lunch, for dinner. Some of the most amazing, and if you haven't seen my reel yet, one of the most incredible desserts I've ever had. Shout out to Mario and his entire team. So Mario came in town from Italy. He'll be heading back here soon, and then I think he's coming back in November. Dear friend of ours that we met about 5 years ago when they first opened Casa Don Alfonso. Incredible food. I mean this. So you want to wow somebody, get them a gift certificate or just go along with them. And they got the #1 Italian restaurant in the United States as soon as they opened their doors, which was just absolutely fabulous. So incredible food. They just rolled out the summer menu, coming out of spring summer menu, and it is amazing. In fact, do not skip on the cuttlefish salad. I know you're going to be like, what? I'm serious. I got that. I got the tomato basil soup, and then I had the lobster ziti. Jim had the halibut, which was unbelievable, and then that chocolate dessert that I had. Well, was mind-blowing. That's all I'm going to say. All right, tomorrow we are going to feature them in our kitchen. We were there at their restaurant last night, but they will be in our kitchen tomorrow, and we will be with Mario and his chef Nino. Cannot wait for them to wow you on our Foodie Friday. As we wrap things up on this April 23rd, we are going to read our devotional from Bloom and Grow. It's called My Gardener's Prayer. Pray like this: Our Father who is in heaven, uphold the holiness of your name. Matthew 6, verse 9. So a few years ago, this woman that wrote the book said, I personalized the Lord's Prayer to reflect my inner gardener. Our Father in heaven's expanse, all color, light, and mystery, divine, reaching to create and touch and hold us, your very making. Gardener is truly your name, creator, nurturer of all that is. Your flowers bloom and blossoms splay color and fragrance, bounding from umber darkness of earth, right? We're hearing the fact that we go through dark times, but the bloom is coming. Just as from heaven, your life streams and beams. Give us today your purifying sun. Refreshment is due in falling rain, nourishment as we toil, clawing at soil and building compost, reclaiming the fruit of successes and losses, beginnings and ends, lives and deaths in your hands. Lead us not to drought or devastation. Harbor us from pestilence, from denial from ourselves. Release us from weeds unleashed that entangle and strangle. For yours is the tender shoot of seedling, the pollinating, the plumping, the ripening of fruit, the waning blossom, perfume spent, the germinating, regenerating, the pruning and the training, all the work that we have to put in, right? For yours is the rhythmic cycle of all, also very good, infinitely true, and beautiful. Forever and ever, amen. That's a gardener's prayer. So talented. Here's one to grow on. Whether you incorporate liturgical prayers and responses into your daily time with God, or speak directly out of the natural overflow of your heart and thoughts, you please and glorify the Lord. Just be sure and speak to him. Lord Jesus, soothe restless hearts with hope, steady shaken spirits with faith. Show us the way to justice and wholeness, enlightened by truth and enfolded in your mercy. Amen. In case a lot of people want to know, where are these devotionals that you buy? Where can I get them, etc.? Bloom and Grow, 365 devotions for the gardener at heart. So again, if you're looking for something special for someone on your list that is a gardener, maybe you get this one called Bloom and Grow. Love it. A lot of these have been gifted to us so that we can read them to you. Well, thank you all so very much for tuning in again. Jack Lane, thank you so much for blessing us with your talent and your greatness. And I cannot wait 5 days from now for Karate Kid to open in the UK and then on to Toronto and hopefully on to Broadway or the West End. Isn't he talented? Just unbelievably talented. And thank you again, Frank Ladd, for connecting us. Gwendolyn, hello. Stephanie, hello. Thank you for watching the interview. I appreciate that. All right, we're going to wrap things up, and then tomorrow we have our Foodie Friday again with the Spotlight feature on Casa Don Alfonso. From now till then, have a wonderful day. Enjoy this beautiful weather. And remember, kindness, Jack and I mentioned it as well, goes so very far. Let's let that ripple effect go on and on and on. Be kind, everyone, and God bless.
The Real Monica Adams Show is brought to you by Exist Stretch. Stop by for your free consultation and 30-minute introductory stretch today.